There was one thing missing when I started out to build wealth, and it held me back for years. But once I discovered it, it boosted my net worth. So let me tell you how I found it. It was in the first few years of me working as a doctor in the hospital, and I had already started to save and invest for quite some time. I wanted to build wealth, to buy beautiful things and to do beautiful things like a vacation on the Maldives. But at some point, I also realized that I did not want to work forever in that job. I did not want to be dependent, like financially dependent on that job. I wanted at least the option to have more flexibility, more autonomy over my time without having to worry about money. So, up until that point, I had saved and invested a little bit, but at that time it wasn't moving forward in a significant way. I guess I thought that it would sort out itself in a way, like when I just keep working and saving and investing that I would be fine. That's not really what happened though. My wealth was growing very slow. But then I did an online course. It was with my first money coach, Bodo Schäfer, and one of the exercises we had to do was to really think deep about the life that we want to live someday. And once I had done this exercise, I was surprised and I was astonished because up until that point, I never really thought about this in that detail. But once I had done this, it changed everything. I'll tell you how it works in a minute. And that is why now I call this Fuel to Wealth vision. Because by creating a very vividly vision of your life, of your dream life, if you will, we also at the same time find our why. And that is why build wealth in the first place. Because we don't build wealth just for a number in a bank account or a number in the brokerage account, right? We want to build wealth to achieve something specific. So money at this point, or wealth, is a means to an end. It may be because we want to spend more time with our loved ones, or to have the means to discover the world, or to spend more time on our hobbies, or to send our kids to private school. Or may it just be to sustain your lifestyle in retirement. And this vision of ours becomes our fuel to wealth, because we know exactly why we're doing it for. And in fact, I just recently talked to a guy and he was asking me what I was doing. And I told him I'm in personal finance. And then his first answer was, oh yes, I could use some of that, which I hear often, by the way. And then he asked me, okay, how would you do this? And then I told him, well, I would probably start with asking you, what is it that you actually want? And he answered, I don't know. And this guy, in fact, had some money invested because he wasn't spending everything that he had earned. And so the money was just lying around. And then at some point he thought, okay, why not invest it? So he did. Now, he didn't tell me how much exactly it was, but I could tell that it's not enough to fund anything big or to fund, for example, a lifestyle to last decades. And that is exactly what happened to me. I was also saving and investing, but because I didn't have a strong reason, I was dabbling. So I wasn't doing it wholeheartedly and therefore in the most efficient way. But then ever since I did this exercise, where I created a very specific vision for my life for the very first time, first of all, it felt so much lighter for me and so much clearer. It's hard to explain it, but it's like before it was like blurry and undefined. And then suddenly I had this sharp picture. But not just that, second of all, my wealth started to grow much faster. And that was because now that I had a reason, I was actively looking for ways to make my vision reality. So I started to save and invest more than before. And it didn't even feel like a sacrifice because I knew, or I know, that what I'm working towards is worth it. So it's worth to not spend it now, but to grow it for the future. Do you know what I mean? Because when you're just doing something either because someone told you to, I remember it was like this for me. I knew that saving and investing was important, so I started it. But there was not really a strong intrinsic motivation. And when it's like that, then saving and investing can feel more like a chore. A chore and something that is taking away from your life right now. But when you know that you're actively working towards your dream future, then that changes. And just real quick before I tell you how it works, maybe you have heard of Simon Sinek before. So here's usually the name that comes up when it comes to the why question, because he wrote a book. It's called Start With Why. Now the book itself is mainly about businesses and how they succeed by finding their why and defining their why. But one prominent framework from the book is the golden circle, and that can be used for all sorts of topics. In fact, let me draw that for you. So the golden circle looks like this. The outer circle is the what. So what is what you are doing, for example, on a daily basis or a weekly basis or a monthly basis to achieve a certain thing. When we think about health, this could be eat a lot of vegetables or walking the 10,000 steps every day. When it comes to money, those are the actions of saving and investing money. Then there is a middle circle. This circle is the how. So this is about knowing what single steps are that you have to take in order to achieve what you want. For example, would be the question how to actually do this. So how do I save more money? How do I invest more money? So when you're already doing certain steps at the what circle, and there comes a time when you plateau, then you get to the how. Then you ask, okay, what can I do more? On the health journey, this could be, oh, maybe I should skip sugar for a while, for example. And then the inner circle, you guessed it, the inner circle is the why. So why are you doing the things that you are doing? Now, this is where it begins. And the stronger your why, the easier the how and the what becomes. So here's how it works. Now, how it works is you simply reflect about what it is that you actually want. This can be in the form of questions. What helped me, for example, was the question, what would you like your life to look like in 10 years from now? Or in 20 years? Or in retirement? And then go really into details. So where do you want to live? How do you want to live? What do you want to do? For example, work-wise, how many vacations do you want to do? What kind of vacations? Camper, 5-star hotels, or something in between? So this is the time to really dive deep and dig deep and ask questions that you may have never asked before. And important when doing this exercise is that you do not care what other people say or what other people might think, because this is your life and you get to decide what to do with it. I would even suggest to do it in private. That's what I did. And then to take it one step further, you can not just answer those questions, but you can also think about that future of yours in vivid pictures. You could even create a vision board. Now, vision boards are very powerful. In fact, I recently talked to someone who did a leadership course for $20,000. And one of the sessions was to create a vision board. And he told me that since he did this exercise, like since he created his vision board, 2 items from his board became reality in surprising detail. And that was only a few months after he started it. So do not underestimate the power of a vision board. Now, because the Fuel to Wealth vision is so important, it is also the very first thing that I teach in my course. It's a 6-week course designed to set up your automated wealth building machine. If you want to check it out, you'll find the link down below. But creating a vision, by the way, is not the same thing as setting financial goals. If you want to learn more about setting goals in a way that actually works, I will link a video for you here. If you're still here, thank you for watching. I hope you got some value out of this, and happy vision boarding. Bye bye.